one, the injuries, then the not being able to like work out like I want to, or even just feeling a little lethargic, or even having, more like feelings of depression in the morning. Like all of those things could potentially be, have some biomarkers flagged in the blood, that could be contributing to some of those things. So that I think that's my point, is where I haven't been feeling that great and I haven't done anything to get ahead of it. Whereas like, shit, dude, it's like, I'll just muscle it and I'll get through the day and I won't complain and I'll just keep doing that same thing, thinking that things are just going to solve themselves.
I'm Antonio Zanalato.
And I am your co-host, Jacob Saldana.
And I'm here to serve men who are seeking more out of their life and themselves, men who are ready to dive deeper and do the work. In this podcast, we will help increase your curiosity in order to live more of an examined life,
to live with integrity for yourself and others,
and to accept the things in life that you can control. Our goal is to help you bring out the warrior within you. Welcome to the Warrior Lab.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Warrior Lab. This is Jacob Saldana checking in.
Antonio Zanalato, what up, guys?
We are checking in from our new studio over here in Monrovia, California. It's over in the San Gabriel Valley, not too far from our Pasadena location. Really dope space inside Entity Fitness. This is also the second location of Space Bar Wellness. And we had to kind of carve out a little space for the podcast studio, as well as all the different content that is now so necessary when opening up a gym or any kind of business. It's kind of a trip, some of the conversations we've been having about what some of that looks like. It's just a different world, where opening up a business and being able to market it and show kind of all that you do. It's not like you used to, where you'd open up a business, you'd reach out to your local chamber of commerce and you'd come out, the mayor of the town would come out with a little red ribbon and a big ass scissors and cut it. And now you're just, you're on and running. No, now you got to document everything. You got to get images and you got to do all that. But this space kind of has it all. So this is your first time out here?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's what's up. Well,
yeah, I got here pretty easy, actually, and it took him about 35 minutes to get here, so not bad at all.
And you were up here anyways because you got a little date night?
That's right. Date night in Hollywood, and then we have the Studio 54 party.
Are you gonna wear your outfit for dinner?
Yeah. No.
You might as well, dude. We're talking about content. We're talking about content.
Hell no, I'm not that brave. I'm not that brave.
If you're going to be up in Hollywood having dinner anyway.
I will fit right in. I know that. I will fit right in. Nobody will even question it. I'm not that brave.
Did. When you posted your outfit, it was like looking fresh, dude.
I know, right?
Fresh. Did you already have those high heels? Those high heels in the closet?
No. I went to this place down by me where you can rent costumes, and so I rent the whole thing out.
Looking fly, dude. You might have to work that in there every Friday, kind of wearing the disco suit. Yeah, dude. Again, like I've said in the past, I'm. It's definitely cool to see, you guys' date nights and your commitment to all that stuff, and how much energy you guys put into, keeping your relationship, on fire with having that one-on-one time.
Yes, and that's that's part of it. That's just one part of the relationship, day and night. It's definitely helped us a lot in terms of taking inventory of where we are, what we need from each other's, and how we can serve each other in a more effective and a meaningful way. Those date nights have been very helpful. I don't know if I ever share with you, but one of my mentors once told me, date night should run you about $200 a night, and so is a couple therapist. Choose wisely.
Yeah, for sure. When you guys are having those date nights, are you guys kind of game planning on like family stuff too, and or you guys try to keep it like really lighthearted? No,
it's just obviously the family obviously comes up. Family topics do come up, but the intention that I set going in is what can I do for you? How can I show up for you that will will make you feel more appreciated or help you in any type of way.
Yeah.
And so that's the intention I set in. Right.
With I guess since you guys don't really take that time to like game plan on all that goes into like having a family, running a family. You guys are both in business for yourself too. Like what's your strategy around like making time in order to organize your week? Like I ask because there's a lot of things on the personal level that I don't make time for to like put on the calendar or even remotely acknowledge. And then every once in a while, like in the mornings, it'll hit me with like, damn, I got to do that, So in regards to like taking care of, say, doctor's visits, not only for your girls, but like for yourself, like, do you have a time throughout the week and where you sit down and you schedule that stuff out, or?
No, I just schedule as I go. I just make sure that I schedule like I schedule everything else, right? I schedule, so my most important job is, one of them is to provide, but even more importantly is to be a father and a husband. So that's my biggest job. Those are my biggest jobs. So I treat those just like I would treat my regular job. So I plug everything in my calendar, just like I plug my clients. Day and night is there, Saturday night, somewhere there. Day and night with the girls, Sunday night as a family. So everything is planned out. I don't necessarily, obviously shit does happen, so things move around. However, we move around with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I'm really dropping the ball with, and if anybody else out there kind of feels the same way, but a lot of like my health things get put to the wayside. Sure, I'm having conversations around fitness and recovery and stuff like that on the day to day, but personally, like going to the doctors and things like that, I don't make time for at all, and it's not that it's something I often worry about, but it creeps in as like, damn, I'm not being as proactive with some of the things that I should be. A perfect example is going to be like going to the dentist. Bro, I haven't been to the dentist in fucking like 6 years. One, it's just like, it's not. So what I'm trying to do is like not be like everybody else that comes to us, to our gyms and to our recovery centers, where they come to us after there's already a problem. So since I'm not having a problem now, it's just not something that I'm worried about, and that's out of alignment with my values as a whole, but then I still don't seem to make the time for it. So maybe, I don't know what I have to do to change that, if it's just this excuse around time, or why I can't apply that in that certain scenario. So the dentist would be one of them, going to a doctor would be another, and doctors I'm not too worried about because, the information I'm going to get from the doctor, unless I have like these crazy, like something gnarly shows up on the blood test, they're not going to help me like optimize my health. So in that regard, I'm thinking, okay, if I was going to spend 3 hours to move my health forward, I'd rather do that at the gym or at the, getting some recovery in. I'm not going to waste 3 hours sitting in some grimy doctor's office where there's just like sickness everywhere. And there's,
well, let me ask you something. Why would you go to the doctor in the first place? Because there is something there that's not, it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be, or?
Yeah, I would say that's, why I haven't gone to the doctor, because I haven't had any red flags like that. But I also know that, being proactive and being preventative is something that's really important. So like currently knowing the interaction that I would have at the doctor isn't worth the experience of going to the doctor, if that makes sense. Cause it's like, it's a hassle every time you go. And even if I'm going to try to be proactive on getting like blood drawn and being able to like look at those biomarkers, the doctor isn't going to be looking at the biomarkers in a way that's moving me towards optimized health. They're only going to be like, oh, well, everything looks relatively okay. You're not going to die tomorrow. And therefore I wasted 3 hours of my day for that. Right. So it's like, if I could go to the doctor and I can get blood drawn, and it was going to be within, he's going to provide me ranges that's showing healthy to optimal, and then I'm having something to like move me forward towards better health, I would probably be more willing to do that, you know, which, you know, maybe functional doctors would do. But anywho, I just don't do it, for maybe that's contributing some of it. You know, what about you? Are you making time to go to the doctors?
I definitely do. And, you know, especially now that I trade time for money, now that I run my own business, I'm still on a stage where I trade time for money. I definitely value the health aspect of things on my end, because if I can show up,
Yeah.
guess what? I'm not getting paid. So I definitely take the time. I spend a lot of time on recovering. I see a chiropractor twice a week, massage therapist once a week, some deep tissue work once a week. So I do make the time. And like I say earlier, I treat everything as it's part of my work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. In order for me to work, to show up 100%, I need to do these things. Right?
Yeah, some of the recovery stuff.
The recovery stuff. If I'm not in a good space in my romantic relationship, I'm not gonna show up 100% at work. That's gonna reflect on my service, and my effects. You know, potentially losing a client as a result of.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to make sure that everything in the back end is taken care of, so I can show up 100% on my line of work.
In regards to, like, say, a traditional physician or medical doctor or something like that, are you proactive with going for like an annual like blood work or check-in?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily go through I have medical insurance, but when it comes down to blood works, when it comes down to reading blood works, so I have, luckily, you know, I've been in a conversation of health and fitness for a while. So I went through the exercise a few times where I have a decent understanding of what the values mean, and also what they mean to me. Because those values are, the standard, the parameters are based on average healthy population, not on athletes or performance enhanced.
I would say they're not even anchored in healthy. It's anchored in the people that go to the doctor. And the last time you gone to the doctor, you see the people at the doctor?
No, I get that, and I totally get that. So, you know, back to my point, what I'm saying is I just use those clinics, those private clinics, get the blood work through them, where I don't have to explain myself why I'm doing that, and just get it done, and then I get my own reading on it, and if there is something that I don't necessarily understand or I can make sense out of it, I just kind of bounce it off some other coaches that how you say,
that you trust, or
I trust. Correct. So I do that. I usually try to do that twice a year. And like I said, I do all those maintenance on my own, chiropractor, massages, all that good jazz on my own. And, you know, if there is something, you know, that is wrong that I believe needs attention, then I'll definitely make the time to go. You know, I have glaucoma. I was diagnosed with glaucoma a few years ago. So I definitely make the time to follow up on that. You know, keep on up on that.
Gotcha.
Once, you know, because that's my eyesight. I lose that, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I mean,
and those are some of the things that I guess that I worry about at times, because since I'm not going to get these checkups, for one, I either, you know, I don't know, just as a guy, just fucking tough it out or whatever the fuck it is. Or it's like,
now let me ask you something. Do you believe, you know, there is some resistance there because of fear of finding out something that?
Possibly. I mean, I would probably say most of it is just going to be in the annoyance of, like, I hate doing shit that doesn't make sense. So, like, calling and trying to schedule an appointment, and they're like, oh, so next appointment's going to be 3 months out. I'm like, okay, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm not going to do that. So those, like, I avoid things that are going to, like, annoy me. And typically every time I deal with a doctor, it's super annoying. You know, I know that I'm doing a lot of the things that I need to stay healthy, but not everything's in our control. So I would sleep easier by knowing what, my blood's looking like. So, I mean, just as of recently though, last week I did invest into getting quarterly blood drawn, for the next year in order to get more proactive on what might be, popping up here. So, I'm going to be partnering with Inside Tracker, which is, pretty awesome company that does a lot of the analytics behind the blood panel. They're going to read this and they're going to tell you kind of where you need to be and where you can go to improve and optimize. Obviously the red flags will pop up if they're there, but this is also for people that are very active, that are athletes, that want to improve their performance and, maybe avoid some performance anchors that they don't necessarily know about. A performance anchor being something that is just like holding you back from becoming the athlete that you want to be, or just, the optimized health that you want. That might not really show up, but if you're just like having nagging, like for one, I guess the nagging thing for me is like this hip issue, right? Where it's like, I've already, just within this past week, I think I've made it a little bit better. But one thing that is not normal is to be having this type of hip pain for as long as I've had. Even though I've come to the conclusion that it is more muscular and it is just because I'm not strengthening my hip flexor or whatever. I've bared with this pain for a year. And knowing that I have the tendency to do that, maybe there was a growth in there or something like that was like hitting the nerve. So rather than me just saying, oh, it's just this tight hip flexor, I should have gone to the doctor or at least had some sort of blood work done at some point within that year, but I never did. Right. So it's like, that's what got me a little concerned that I tend to do that. And it's kind of bullshit that I use the excuse of that inconvenience of going to the doctor to do it, because there's so many other options, like, using Inside Tracker to get your blood drawn, have them do the work for you and basically give you that peace of mind. So we'll see in a week what comes back,
Did you already take the blood out or not yet?
No, that's another thing, because there's still, some habits that I have, right? So it's like, I don't like to schedule shit, right? So I still have to schedule. I have to go into just like a Quest Diagnostics real quick and do it. But I tried to do a walk-in yesterday versus make an appointment, and that didn't happen. Yeah, and I wasn't trying to fast till like 6 o'clock at night. So I was like, I was craving a bagel, so I had to smash that bagel.
Got it.
But yeah, so I mean, that's something I'm really working on, is like being just more proactive, not only in my actions daily around health, but just like looking at the data, because so much of the shit that we tell ourselves is just like stories, and it's not really based off of anything in particular.
And it's important, Jacob. A lot of people use blood work as a gauge of health. But what I tell a lot of my clients, a lot of my athletes, is like, you have other gauges.
Yeah.
Within you that allow you to determine if you are healthy or not. So are you feeling good? Right? How's your blood pressure? Like, it's like how, are you retaining water? All those things that we have within us that can tell us if we're, so we are not chasing ghosts.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to go down the rabbit hole and start chasing ghosts. Right, but if we're feeling good, if we're good, then just you're okay.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? If you're carrying yourself in a respectful way, respectful towards your body, what you put in your body is for the most part healthy. Is what by healthy I mean is. Is what your body needs, nourishing, I guess you can say. You train, you work out regularly, and you do all the things that are pro health, and then there is not really need to go and and chase, like I said, chase these ghosts.
Yeah.
Right. So great. The work blood. It's definitely a good thing. But what is also important that we listen to our body.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I haven't been doing. Is like I'm a because one, the injuries, then the not being able to like work out like I want to, or even just feeling a little lethargic, or even having more like feelings of depression in the morning. Like all of those things could potentially be, have some biomarkers flagged in the blood, that could be contributing to some of those things. So that I think that's my point, is where I haven't been feeling that great and I haven't done anything to get ahead of it. Whereas like, shit, dude, it's like, I'll just muscle it and I'll get through the day and I won't complain and I'll just keep doing that same thing, thinking that things are just going to solve themselves. But no, there's tools out there that, and not, and honestly, I hope nothing shows up in there, but I'm also somebody who gets motivated by knowing that I have some control over it. So, hypothetically, I've used, the story that, I probably have some low testosterone or something like that. That's why I'm not feeling as motivated or ambitious as I should towards the gym or whatever it is. One, that's just, an unnecessary story, because you can find those answers out, and that's where, I want to at least get ahead of that and then know that, you can change that, right? You can either make the lifestyle changes to increase your testosterone levels, or, you can then source some hormone replacement, right? But it's like, you're not just sitting back and spinning your wheels on some hypothetical bullshit that you don't know about, and then you're actually taking action on doing it. So that's what I'm at least excited to kind of start that baseline.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
So, but anything in regards to like, what's the last time you had to go to the doctor? Or is there anything that like you're like, oh shit,
it was last week, but I had to go check the glaucoma. Luckily, it's pretty, glaucoma doesn't get any better. The only thing you can do is to stabilize it.
What are some of the things that you can do to stabilize?
I'm using those two different type of blood eye drops, one in the morning or one at night.
Gotcha.
And just keeps the blood pressure in the eyes lower. So I don't know how that necessarily translates into not making the glaucoma any worse.
Is glaucoma? It stems from high blood pressure, or?
I think so. High blood pressure. I believe. What else is this? There's another factor in there as well. Plays a role. Is it? I forgot now. I will have to go back and see. But yeah. It's primarily blood. It's primarily blood pressure, and and I surprisingly, I got diagnosed. I'm pretty young to be diagnosed with glaucoma, so I don't necessarily know what caused it. I don't know if it was caused because when I used to sail, or even when I used to work on the docks, I used to work night hours. I used to force myself to work in the dark, when you're on a bridge on a ship, all the lights are off. So that I'm not sure. I'm just making assumptions here. And again, I never took the time to, find out what caused that. It's something that never necessarily interests me.
Yeah.
To research. But yeah, I was pretty young when I was diagnosed with glaucoma.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I don't have too much family history on like my dad's side, but like there was, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and had to go through all of that. And, those things, again, like he compartmentalized that and like didn't show us much of it. So like, I don't have this trauma around it. Like some other people that has battled cancer or whatever, like he just handled it, you know what I mean? And it was something that didn't seem to really affect us. And, went through one round of chemotherapy, or I think it was like basically like seeds of chemo that they like put in the prostate or something like that. Okay. But again, it was like, I was in high school, and it was just something that he just seemed to handle, and nothing ever came back from it. But
that's awesome.
That is something, that, I want to, I guess, stay on top of. And yeah, so we talk a big game about how we're here for people and our families and all that shit. And I guess that's the takeaway that I want everyone to know is like, quit being a little bitch and like go to the doctor, especially when you have something that's weighing on you.
Go to the doctor, not so much go to the doctors. Take care of yourself. You matter.
Yeah.
You, at the end of the day, you matter. And your health is your baseline, is your foundation to ensure that you show up as you need to show up to your family,
Yeah.
to your community, to your show up in all different facets of life. But health is the foundation.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, man, it's game over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like if you're a warrior, right? You're a warrior, you're an asset. You're an asset to what it is that you're fighting for. You're definitely not a liability, right? And if you're not getting ahead of some of these potential things that could be making you a liability, then, you're setting yourself up for failure and exposure to be, taken out at whatever capacity that is.
And it's important to highlight on what you just said that, we shy away from taking care of ourselves or checking in with ourselves, with our doctor to see how, because we don't want to appear to our family or to our community to be a liability. And that's why we shy away sometimes, and not understanding that actually that's just a story we're telling to ourselves, and our family and our community wants us to be healthy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a less man to take a trip to the doctor if you have a cold that you cannot shake it off the last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to judge you. And even if they do, guess what? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely been that guy who's just like, well, not go to the doctor because of that. It's just like, that's what I'm trying to do better at, man. So putting it out here as a little accountability, and, if anyone's interested, I'm more than open to show you what these blood panels look like from Inside Tracker and kind of go over that actual report to kind of share, some of the action items that I'll be doing to move my health forward. And I also challenge you to kind of go to the doctor, get proactive, get some blood work drawn. Because it is important, maybe a little short-term step back to kind of nip the long-term liability in the butt, so yeah, with that, that's kind of our message for today. Get to the doctor, myself included, get things checked out, stay on top of things, and in an effort to be less fragile, we're about to go get this quick little workout in out here at NCT Fit. Last time Antonio put me through any kind of workout, and did not go well. It exposed some weaknesses in me real quickly.
We're gonna take it easy. So I'm still digesting that chipotle bowl right now. So I don't know how much I can push myself.
Well, y'all, as always, follow along Instagram, Cub_Saldana.
Strength philosopher.
And do us a favor and go head over to the YouTubes, man. We're recording these with some crispy ass video. So head over to YouTube at Warrior Lab and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on those reminders. We've been pretty consistent on our Wednesday drops, but go check that out. Let us know any feedback. Leave us some comments in that comment area, and we'll get back to you guys with any questions. And until next time, we are out of here.
Peace.